Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to continue my series of an Etsy shop owner, and I'm really going to dive deep into what it's like to own an Etsy shop. So I'm going to bring you guys along with me as I fill orders, whether that be, directly from the inventory that I might have or printing and cutting. So we'll kind of get an idea. As of right now, I have 2 orders that are open. Last night I worked on a couple orders, and so my main goal, and I get a lot of questions about this, my main goal is to try and get them out within a day or 2. I do have on my Etsy shop that it could be between 1 and 2 weeks, and that's really just a buffer for me, just in case life gets crazy, work gets crazy, all of that fun stuff. But I really strive to get it out in a day or 2. But of course, with a busy life, I need to make sure that I can do that, so that's why it says it on Etsy. So anyway, last night I filled a couple orders. Right now I only have 2, but I know my inventory is getting kind of low. So what I do, and this is a little different, I think all Etsy shops do it a little different. What I do is I have a little organizer here. I use these Erin Condren dividers to keep everything kind of separated and organized. And for the most part, I try and keep, like, if I'm gonna print and cut stuff, I try and do a couple extras just so that I have stuff on hand, so that if someone places a small order, I can just fill it right away and I don't have to go through the whole process. As of right now though, I know I'm running low because, like I said, I filled a couple orders last night, and when things are getting kind of crazy, I don't always print extra. Especially with January, because January is starting to get, the orders for January are starting to get less and less because we're in January, so like it makes a little bit more sense not to print a ton extra of January. So anyway, my first step when I see that I have orders open is I take my little notebook, which I have kind of everything laid out. So I have January kits, I have February kits. This column I have a list of what I have on hand, and then right next to it I have a needed column. So what I do is I just use the app on my Etsy app on my phone, and I think it's called Sell on Etsy, that's what it's called. And it'll show you guys what the open orders are. So let me go ahead and turn you guys around so I can show you what this looks like. Okay, let's see, is it gonna focus? Okay, so it says that I have 2 orders open. One is for 6 items, and it was $19.50 total. That includes the shipping costs. And then this other one, which has 12 items, and it was $41.31. If you see this ship in 14 days, that just gives me an idea of how long I have. Again, I try and do it within a couple days. It will never be 14 days before I go ahead and do it. Here's what I was saying about my little listing. This is an Erin Condren Focus Collection notebook. They sent it to me a while ago, and it's really come in handy to keep track of inventory. You can see I already started March. My goal is to have March large kits as well, the 8.5 by 11. But anyway, what I'm gonna do right now is just kind of take a look at the items that the 2 people purchased and take a little count of what I need, and then we can kind of go from there. So I'm going to place my phone over here so you guys don't see who it is and all of that fun stuff. So this might be a little rocky, but we're gonna make it work. Okay, so this person bought a January budget, and as you can see right now, I have no January budgets available. I have none cut and printed, so I'm gonna have to cut that one. And then they also want a weekly check-in. She wants a February weekly check-in. This is a little rocky. I probably should have put it on my tripod, but oh well. She wants a January transaction log. She wants a February budget. And she wants a February transaction. So that's the 6 items that she purchased. So that's everything there that I'm going to have to fill. And then the next one is for 12 items. So she wants a January sinking fund, a January budget, January thin, washi, January variable. She wants February thin, February sinking funds, February budget. When I'm doing this, normally it doesn't take this long, but I'm trying to juggle the camera as well as everything else. And then she wants 2 of washi number 2s. January weekly check-in. She wants 2 of the thick washies from February. February variable. And February weekly check-in. So now that I have all of the items that both of the orders want, now I can take a look at what I have and what I need. So it looks like for January weekly check-in, I'm good. I need 2 and I have 4. But for budget, I only have 2. So I'm gonna go ahead and this is my method. Again, you can kind of change it up, but I'm gonna print 3 of those. And then transaction, whenever I have like a little squiggly line, that means I have a ton on hand, so I don't have to worry about that. Sinking funds, I have 1, but I have 2, but I only need 1, so we're good there, good there, good there, good there. So then, now we move on to the February stuff. So again, I have lots of weekly check-in stuff, but I'm going to need 2 budgets. So I'm gonna print 3 of those as well. Transaction, we're good. Sinking funds, we're good. Variable, we have 1, or we have 3, so we're good, good, and good. So it looks like all I'm gonna have to print this time is a January budget and a February budget, 3 of each, and I will be good. So I'm gonna go ahead and print those out and show you guys the process, and then we'll cut some stuff. So now that I have one that's already printed out, I'm going to start cutting as the other ones continue to print. And the most important thing here is just to make sure that the lines are lining up on this little mat. I've noticed that if I mess up, if they're not like, they don't have to be perfect, I don't think, but if they're really crooked, that's when you have an issue. So I try and just line them up as best as I can. That's the February stuff. And then I'm just gonna move you guys right over to my sticker cutter and show you guys this whole process. Sorry, a lot of this is like me moving you guys around, but just wanna be real with you guys and show you guys exactly the way that it works. So there's little lines on here, you line it up, and then you do load. And then I go over to my computer and just send it over. It'll read all the registration marks. That's kind of what it's doing now. It is extremely loud, so just kind of keep that in mind if you're thinking about getting one. So now it's going to adjust the blade. All of my machines are, they have the option to have an auto blade, and so instead of having to manually do it, it just does it by itself. And then you're gonna see it cutting here. I try and make sure that it just looks okay before it gets too far, because sometimes it'll be misaligned or something and you don't want to waste the entire sheet. If one of them gets messed up, it's better to save a couple of the sheets rather than make sure that they're all messed up. So anyway, it's gonna just keep cutting. And as that happens, I'm going to print all of the shipping labels and all of the packing slips. Okay guys, so as that is cutting, as my printer is still printing, I'm going to go ahead and get everything ready to go. So like I said, I have 2 orders and I'm just on the Etsy website. I can't really show you guys this part because I don't want to show names or anything like that. But basically, Etsy sets it up really nicely for you guys. All you really have to do is go into your orders and shipping, and it'll show you what they ordered, who ordered it, it'll show their address and all of that fun stuff. And then all I have to do is go to get shipping labels. And I want to show this part to you guys for sure, because this is the cool part about this little printer. So I'm basically just gonna go through, no one sent me any change of addresses, so I don't have to worry about that. So I'm gonna go through and just, pretty much everything is set up. It's USPS first class service first class package service. So it'll tell me the expected delivery date. For these people who ordered last night, they should get their stuff by Friday, which is really good. I can change the ship date to be today or tomorrow. I think I can even go to I can go all the way up to like Thursday. So I have lots of different options in terms of that. I do have like a regular set package type, which makes it easy because I don't have to fill in the package dimensions every time, but I do use packages that are 7 by 9, and then the package weight is usually around 3 ounces. So I just put that in. Now I'm gonna do the other one. So again, 3 ounces, and that's all set to go. So now, because I know I'm gonna go to the post office today and bring these packages, I'm gonna say that the ship date is today. I have to just confirm and buy because I personally buy the shipping. And of course, you know, you guys are paying for the shipping. So I'm gonna print my shipping labels now. That's how easy it is. A couple clicks and it's ready to go. So I have the shipping label here and I'm gonna send it to my Dymo printer. Hopefully that's what it's called. And I have it all set up so it should be ready to go. So we're gonna go ahead and print it. For whatever reason, now it just decides not to work. Let's see what is going on with this thing. Okay, so apparently my the plug in the back was disconnected, which makes sense because I've had a couple problems with it recently. But those are the 2 shipping labels, so it's all good to go. And then the next thing that I would do is print out the packing slips. Now I do still have my printer going, so I'm just gonna pull it up and do it in a little bit once that is all done and I can change out the paper. But that's basically all that entails. It's very fast on Etsy's part, and that's one of the really nice advantages to using Etsy. I know a lot of people don't like to because they think there's a lot of fees and stuff. I totally get that. But for me, the convenience part of it is really nice. So my other one is ready to go. I'm gonna show you guys what that looks like. So, oops. Move this over. I talked about it in my office tour, but I do like to keep this chair here so that it's all good to go. As you can see, I have it so it automatically cuts it, and this is what it looks like after it's all cut. So you legit just pull these off and the sheet is all good to go. Sometimes they get a little curled depending on how you do it, but for the most part, after you like combine them with all the other inventory, you're good to go. So that is one of the sheets, and I'm just gonna keep going. I need to do a couple more of the Februaries, and then we can move on to the January, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like to, oh, we're gonna need replacement black ink soon. I'll show you guys what my process looks like when I am packaging everything. So it's actually, like I said, not crazy busy. Like it takes a little bit of time, and in the very beginning it's kind of stressful because it's all new, but after you get the hang of it, it's really not that bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and send this over, and then we'll get the packing slips going since my printer's all done with everything. So I will pop in, I'll pop in a little bit. So like I said, now I'm going to print my shipping labels. And one thing that I make sure to do is, one, make sure to take out your sticker paper. You don't want to waste that. So I put regular paper in there. And then there are a couple adjustments I have to make to the settings. I don't like when it prints two-sided. It's kind of weird. And I don't know, for whatever reason, it just doesn't seem to like work right. So I just want to make sure that you guys are getting what you need to get. And where am I at? I need to print this thing, but I need to find the right settings. For whatever reason, it keeps changing on me. Oops, not statement. US letter, that's what I like. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and print that here. And this is way faster than when it prints the stickers because I do change the settings. So I change it obviously to normal. I change it to normal paper, but also because it's not as good quality printing out, because it doesn't need to be, it happens way faster. So one is already out, and I am going to, where's my stuff? This is a hot mess, guys, but this is real life. Like, I'm all over the place when I'm doing this, and it's the same thing with these videos. Okay, so I'm gonna cover up some of the name stuff really quickly so that you guys can see what the shipping label looks like. I think that is everything that you guys should not be seeing. Okay, so here's one of them. Like I said, this is the person who ordered 6 items. And so if I needed to staple it, this is when I would staple it. Of course, this is only one sheet, so I don't have to do that. And then I take this little marker here, and if there's any items that have multiple items, I go ahead and circle it with some type of pen. So as you can see, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So just one of every item, so I don't need to do that step. But if I needed to, this is when I would do that. When I'm getting everything all set up to go, I would do that now. And so I'm gonna go ahead and do that with the other one. I will show you guys the little process. This one is a double sheet one, so I will staple it. And I make sure when I'm doing this to not put the staple by the stickers when I'm putting everything into the little plastic bag, because I don't want to ruin the stickers doing it that way. So I stapled it, so now I know everything is together. It gets a lot more complicated when you have more than one, when you have more than a couple orders. At one time I had like 60 orders open, and when you try and print the packing slips, I'm like, I don't want things to get messed up. So anyway, it's a lot easier when you only have a couple. So now I'm gonna go through and just see if there's 2 of anything. And there are 2 of the January washies there, so I circled that. And then there are 2 of the February washies, so I circled that. So now as I'm packing everything up, I know if I see anything with a circle that I need to keep track of the quantity. So that is all good to go. So I'm just going to continue cutting, and then I will pop back in with you guys when I'm ready to start packaging the orders. Okay guys, so now that everything is cut, I actually still have one thing cutting, but I have everything I need. So now that everything is cut, it's actually pretty simple. You know, my whole process for packing everything, because I did all of the legwork beforehand, and I do have my phone in my pocket. That's why it looks really weird. Okay, so I always like to do this on my living room floor, and honestly, I think it's just because I'm in my office so much that I want a little change of pace. A lot of times Jason will be out here, maybe Macy will be out here, we'll be watching a show or whatever. Macy will help me. This time I'm on my own, so I always bring stuff with me. So I always have my little clear plastic bags. I have a pen so I can mark things off, and you'll see that in a second. I always bring the number of mailers that I know I'm going to be filling. So I have 2, they're all ready to go. I do have obviously my inventory over here. I have my clipboard with my packing slips and my little labels for shipping. And so I just keep the packing slips right next to me, and I keep everything else kind of far away besides the inventory. So I'm gonna start off with this one here, and I just need to make sure that I have the correct mailing label. I wanna make sure that that's the right one. So I'll go ahead and put that on there, just make sure they're the same. I will pull my little plastic bag and put that down right there, and then just start filling. So like I said, they have a January sinking fund. So this time around, I just pull everything as I kind of go down the list. And then you'll see kind of how I double check in a second. They have thin washi, and I do have everything kind of set up in a good way that I know where things are. But right now it's a little bit more full than usual because all the March stuff's in there. So I need February or January variable income, February thin washi, February sinking funds. Normally this is quicker, but of course, like filming it's a little bit harder to do. February budget, then we have 2 of the January thick washies. 1, 2, and again, I marked that so it was easy to see. January weekly, February. We have 1, 2, February variable, and then the weekly check-in. Okay, so now that I have everything pulled, now this is the part that is really crucial to make sure. And honestly, sometimes I've done this and I found errors. So I do this every single time. So now I go through and I just make sure that everything that I pulled is exactly what they ordered. So again, February weekly check-in, February variable, 2 of the thick washies for February. Then we have the January weekly check-in. We have 2 of the washies from January. We have a February budget, February sinking funds, February thin washi, January variable, January thin, January budget, and January sinking fund. So everything I pulled is correct. Now what I'll do is I'll go through and kind of sort them. I like to put, you know, things kind of in biggest to smallest to package just so it looks nice. And while I'm doing that, I will also go ahead and count everything just to make sure again that I'm getting a double check that everything is here. So I like to again mark or put things that are alike together. So we'll do all the washi together. I always put January 1st for whatever reason. I don't know if there's any method to that. And then as I'm doing this, I'm also checking to make sure all the cut lines are okay. Usually I can tell pretty easily with the script stickers. So here I have 2, 4. I know I have 6 here, so that will be 10, 12, 14. And that's how many items she ordered. So 14 items. And again, I just do, you know, smallest to largest. Largest is in the back. Go ahead and put those in first, and then I'll take this, just double check again to make sure the names are the same. Go ahead and fold this up, and I put, because this one has a staple, I try and put the staple furthest away from the stickers just to avoid any issues with, you know, them getting damaged. And then I can go ahead, seal it. My hair is like seriously everywhere. Jason's going to kill me. Okay, and then there we go. All of the items are in there. We can go ahead and put them into the envelope. And the envelopes are always very stiff. It's a little bit of a struggle to get the items in there, but then you know that they are secure, and that's one thing that I really like. So that is it. That is one order ready to go. I'll put that off to the side as I do the next one. And again, this is not super complicated if you have 1 or 2, but there were points where I was working on like 30 orders at a time, and that's when you have to be really careful because you don't want any mistakes and you don't want people waiting for their items for them to like get them not being what they wanted. So this one, January budget, January weekly check-in, we have February weekly check-in, February transaction. A lot of people, I've gotten questions a lot about why I don't group items together. I know a lot of shops have like budget kits. I did not do that because I know personally I don't always use the same stuff that other people use, and I want you guys to be able to customize it. As I add more items to my shop, you guys will be able to have like debt trackers and all kinds of fun stuff, and I don't want to like limit you guys or make you buy stuff that you don't need. So that's the main reason why I don't do that. I know it's kind of tricky because you might forget something, but what I would suggest doing is just make a list of the items that you want to use. So if you know every week you're going to use or every month you want to use the budget page, the weekly check-in page, maybe a sinking fund page, and maybe the transaction log, just have a list somewhere like where you know you'll see it and when you're ordering. That way you don't forget anything. I feel like that's probably the best thing. Okay, so we have the February transaction, we have February budget, we have January transaction, February weekly check-in, January weekly check-in, and January budget. So there should be 6 items here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So perfect. And again, this person does not use sinking funds. So if I would have had a bundle and I did sinking funds, she would have to buy something that she doesn't need, and that's something I really don't want to do. So hopefully you guys don't mind having to get the individual sheets. Okay, so again, I'll just put the shipping label or the packing slip, I say that 100 times, packing slip inside, seal it all up, ready to go, and then I will insert it into the rigid mailer, and it's all set to go. The last step that I take with this whole process is at the very end, after doing that, I want to update my little inventory list. So I erase everything that's on the sheet because obviously the on hand is different. What I printed will no longer be relevant, and then the needed section is done. This sheet is beat up, but honestly it works, and I could redo it every time, but this is more of a convenience thing than a cutesy thing. So I'll just go through again and just count everything that I have. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 weekly check-ins for January. Oh no, I just did that in pen. Oh, so funny. Okay, actually, you know what? I'm not going to do this right now because I have one that's printing, and I don't want to do it incorrect. So anyway, this would be the point where I would be updating this. I obviously would not use pen, that was a mistake, just so that I know what's kind of on hand. I try and do this after I fill orders, but if it's late and I don't do it, then I'll just do it next time when I'm printing and cutting stuff. It's not, I try and make this process fun, and so if I ever feel like I'm getting stressed by stuff, I just wait. I just take a break, wait, and then move on. So anyway, that is me filling orders, and now the next step would be me bringing these to the post office. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I have to leave in a little bit to go meet someone. So let's see, I don't think I'm gonna leave for a little bit, but I will definitely bring you guys along when I bring it to the mailbox, just show you that process. Like I said before, most of the time, Jason and Macy would do this part. They would bring the packages to the mailbox. But because I'm filling orders and I want these to go out soon, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I would say probably 1 or 2 days out of the week I would do it, and then the rest of the days Macy and Jason would do it. And again, I try and do this on a daily or every 2 days basis, so for the most part I do have stuff going out every single day. But anyway, that is this little part. I will update you guys in a little bit when I go to the post office, and I'll see you then. Okay guys, so you saw me dropping off all of the stuff at the mailbox or at the post office. Just now, as I was doing that, I got another order. So that is just really how it goes. I feel like as soon as I get orders out, there's always a new one, and that's not a bad thing at all. I love it. I love that you guys are loving my stickers, and I love that you guys are, you know, showing me that you love them and tagging me and stuff. It's awesome to see all of the feedback and everything like that. So that is my whole process. I wanted to just say really quickly thank you to you guys. You guys have always been huge supporters, and I love that. I love that I have this community of people who like really just want me to do well, and that's amazing. So thank you guys so much. I do continue to plan on making stickers. I don't see an end in sight because I honestly really do just enjoy doing it. So thank you guys again for everybody who supports me. As long as you guys want stickers, as many as you want, I will have them ready for you guys. So just keep that in mind if you guys are, I know a lot of people are probably thinking, you know, how does she do it all, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, it's not easy, but when you love doing stuff, like I love doing videos, I love filling orders, you make time for it. And so, and it's a family thing now, you know, like I said, Macy helps me all the time, Jason helps me, they love going to the post office. It's one of Macy's favorite things to do, is to go to the post office to drop off the packages. So I just want to say thank you guys again, because honestly, you help make the things that I love come true. So thank you guys again, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.